I have no idea when it starts, but okay. Welcome to Humanity Unboxed. Good morning, Michael. I really love your background.
Morning. Thank you.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Is
you.
it something you created?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always the backgrounds are always mine.
Yes. I really like it. It's
Yeah.
there's a little bit of chaos in it. There's a little bit of
I'm
yeah.
chaotic. Yeah. I'm neurodivergent. That counts as neurodivergence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
world is chaotic at the moment.
yes,
Mm.
but it's a good thing because when you go in crisis, every time you come out of crisis, you're better. So
Yeah.
it never goes like, oh, then I had that accident and all of a sudden everything is no. It's very rarely that is. So you go to a
Yeah.
crisis, you have a problem. When you get through it, you and actually live it through. We live through it. You actually feel better afterwards. I mean, you know
Well, you
me.
change. You
You change it.
change.
Yeah, you change it in the
Yeah.
positive though, because I don't think I was
Mm.
better before I was homeless, and
Yeah.
now you're not homeless, but before I was,
Yeah, but is there a better? Is there a
no,
positive? You
but
know what I
it's more
mean?
me. It's more me.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the only all it can be. It cannot be better or worse because
No.
we're all one of one. So
Yeah.
what for
Yeah.
you is better, is not for me better at all. You
Yeah.
like green and I hate black, for example. So
Yeah. 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 So we're still talking about creativity. And
okay.
can we hate things, in a creative space, or do we allow things, in creativity? I was watching this artist this morning. He had four huge blank canvases on the wall.
hmm
And he was saying how amazing that stage is when there's nothing and you're not sure what's going to be, what's going to reveal itself on a canvas.
But
So
a lot of
that's
people, I
fun.
hate it. So a writer to start a new book, painters hate it. The blank space. He saw it
Yeah,
right. I love the blank space,
yeah. Well, the blank
because
space has got all the potential.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, I love the looking at me. When I look at blank space, I
mm.
love it looks at me.
Yeah,
It's like, I find the connection between the blank space and me.
yeah.
And
Like a
and
mirror.
I love that. I love that feeling. And then when I see, so let's say you inspire me with your sweater, the color of your
Yeah,
sweater.
yeah,
Say, oh my God, I love that color. You never had that color. I could say that, yeah. So
yeah,
this is all a thing. So I take the color and put it all on the canvas. Then it's all the color, and then I say, wow, that color. What fits to that? Oh, blue, yellow, green, and
yeah,
and and out of that. So where would I put the blue? See, the blue asked me to put it somewhere. The yellow asked me to put it somewhere.
yeah,
I didn't put. When you look at my background, it
yeah,
wasn't like, oh, this is where black goes or whatever. It
yeah,
asked me to get there. So
yeah,
I'm only a conduit. That's why I never say, oh, I'm such an artist or whatever, because
yeah,
I did 3,000 paintings. And it's funny that this comes up because I had yesterday a podcast about the art creation versus uh, the product, and I said,
yeah.
and we said it ourselves.
Mm.
Yeah, the product is important if you're lucky that people resonate with it. But if let's say I'm creating something, I put it in the Louvre, I put it all this stuff, and nobody likes it. That
Yeah,
that that it is dependent on other people liking it,
yeah,
and we exist by all being together.
yeah,
So I'm not. We can never ask. I paint something and everybody has to like it. I don't care if people don't like my background. If people say
yeah.
that's the worst painting ever, I'm not, that's okay.
That's fine.
I
Yeah,
got everything out of it, the
yeah,
creation, and that's so powerful. You're talking about creativity. That's the like I said, you stand in front of the space and then say, okay, what comes through for that space? What comes through. I mean, the spiral that you have.
mm.
How did you start that? Did you know exactly? Oh, it's going to be a spiral, and that's that you said this is what comes, and then it
Yeah,
came. Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah,
and still I want to make more of it, like I
yeah,
want to be able to have a bigger space to see what else comes up, I suppose.
yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
because dimension is very important because most people in the art business,
Mm,
they make an apple that is 6 foot high or 6
mm,
meters high. That's easy because that's impression of you. That like
yeah.
if I make a bug, a little ant, I make it 4 meters long.
Yeah.
That's impressive. It's
Yeah.
it's impressive by the fact that it's 4 meters long. It's like
Yeah.
magnifying glasses. When you look at the microbes and you look at the things, they're beautiful. They have all kinds of life and shades and so that's a cheap trick, I think, in the art industry. Just
Yeah.
say, okay, I'm gonna make something
Make
small
something
very
small,
big.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's duality, isn't it? What's the word? It's that's kind of the two
Comparison.
polarity.
Uh-huh.
So to have the two polar opposites.
I
Uh,
have not found anything because I recognize that, and especially when you do a normal thing.
yeah.
When you do something else, when you do an abstract really big, like Frankenthaler,
Yeah.
she does very big canvases, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
But it was an abstract, and it's not dependent on the big size, Even
No.
though
Yeah.
museums go also for the big ones because it's impressive.
Mm.
Impression is big.
But then
I
it
don't
also
know.
depends on the space that you're in. In a
Yeah, it
museum,
has to be
you
a
have a
huge.
lot of space, so you can play around with that. When you're in a house in England, you don't have much space or
Yeah,
whatever. So
I cannot get a six meter by 4 meter in this room.
no,
That
well, no, not without
no.
thinking. Well, all the stuff because I have boxes and
But
it's
even if it's
chaos.
empty, I couldn't get a six point by four
Yeah,
meters. Yeah,
yeah.
to
Well, we
get that
live
in.
in a converted Methodist chapel, so also not a conventional space, and I suppose that is a lot to kind of bring back to our world these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, if we if we look at the environment that we're in, how much chaos is there?
Mhm.
Because the spaces that we move in or the societies that we live in have been hiding the chaos, and now it's all coming out.
Yeah, they have had it.
Now
You
it's
you're so right. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, and now we're experiencing it, but it doesn't mean it wasn't always there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was always there, but
yeah,
we hit it. I mean, I sent you that stuff with the stuff, the last one about the aliens and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So what I was thinking, I'm not interested in aliens or I mean, they're nice and they're like beings. I'm interested in monkeys too. So
yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah,
So what many say that because we screwed up and suppressed all the stuff,
yeah,
that you can't really look at the past anymore. In the first, we learned from the past. We
mm,
can't. But we learned distorted because
mm,
because they say, oh, there was the base aliens on the pyramids or something,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, but it was only very given further, very certain pages were not released,
yeah,
certain things were not thing. This was very manipulated.
yeah,
What actually came from history,
yeah,
and then they find this book and that book,
yeah,
and there
and
wasn't
change.
translated right, and pages were missing, and all kinds of stuff. So we can't rely on the past.
Mm-mm.
But the future, if the future are our future selves, they
Yeah,
came us here,
yeah,
then we have to co-create with them the
mm,
new earth, the new beautiful,
yeah,
the harmonious earth, because you say, you
yeah.
know there's
From
this
a human perspective, though,
for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
because
human centered. Because if we like, I've been creating something new recently, and I've realized all these AI tools that I have. So I use some of them. I use some
yeah.
of them, but then suddenly I realized, hang on a minute, I'm only using them, and they're talking to each other. So this is not my creation anymore.
Yeah.
So we distort what we believe in this moment through looking at versions of a truth or
Hmm.
versions of a creative process,
Hmm.
which isn't always ours anymore
Hmm.
because now suddenly I have a tool. I'm just one person doing different things, and I need some help, or I need some, I need to do it quicker because I have other stuff too.
Yeah.
So I start building on fake foundations, if that makes sense. Like
Yes.
the past is
100%.
actually a fake foundation.
100%.
Yeah,
Notebook has all my Google Docs,
yeah,
but it cannot contextually. If I give you all my Google Docs, you copy from there, you paste there, whatever.
yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't. It changes everything. It changes in the context everything.
yeah. But then I also, even if I do it, I only use your perspective. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So if I
Yeah.
if I use AI to talk to AI, then all I'm using is the AI perspective, which is
Exactly. And you out
influenced
of it.
by
Yeah. Yeah.
whoever, input the
Hmm.
information,
Yeah.
which is also often AI generated or influenced at least.
I don't want anything from any other creator. I don't want. I don't. I am for co-creating, like you and I. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not for taking some like Picasso and say I'm gonna make my version of Picasso.
mm,
It has value or whatever, but not for me at all. I don't want to read a book and say, "Oh, he said and she said," and always because I couldn't remember anyway the names,
yeah,
and I couldn't references. But I don't want it. I don't want something else. You
yeah,
know that
yeah,
is not co-created. Yeah, I
mm.
don't want to build on somebody else's thing. Whatever comes in, that I'm building on. So what is my joy, my pleasure, that I
Or
know that's
sorrow, or
yeah,
sadness,
whatever. Yeah,
or yeah, whatever it
it's
is.
my sorrow. It's not somebody else's
Yeah,
sorrow. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
because we and I can be sorrow and can be differently sorrow. Totally.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
There's
we experience
always
it
that
all.
generalization. Label and generalization.
Yeah, yeah.
That
It
is
inhibits what we experience when we
yeah,
start doing that.
yeah.
And to even put a label on it, is it sorrow or is it experience of sadness that is
And
now
grief,
global,
sadness and
and
grief.
grief?
Yeah,
There's a lot
yeah,
of grief. There's a lot
yeah.
of grieving for the things that we thought were real. The perspectives that we
I
thought were
understand. I
ours.
felt that. I felt a lot of grief in that. Oh, I was thought that was. I was told that. I have to be a
Yeah.
good boy. I have to be this. I have to be that. I was told that. I choose to be a good boy, but I didn't have to. There's a difference between choosing to be a good boy or you have to be a good boy. And
Or
this
understanding what a good boy is.
intimidating
Yeah.
and intimidating everything like the taxes are intimidated, the military it's everything is intimidating to
Mm.
force you to be in fight flight, and then you believe half truths. See, telling half truths is one thing, but how can I have the people believe the half truths to me so they have false hope? How
Yeah.
can I have that? And so when the people in fight flight, they take anything. They take an arm and pull you in the water, right?
Mm.
And when they take that, they say then they are half. They say I can hold on to Michelle's half truth,
Mm.
right? But you didn't tell me the other side, So
Yeah.
I hold on to your half truth, and then because I'm so I'm gonna. Oh, that gives me hope,
Mm.
and that hope is a false hope, and that's you know when you don't
And
know
does
all.
it matter though, if it's
Yes, it
also
does matter. You know why?
if yeah.
It does matter because, like you said, when you don't have the fundament of you,
Mm.
when you build it on somebody else's reality or perception or whatever, it's almost saying, say everything I need to know, and I build it exactly like you. That's a copy.
Yeah.
So, and that's also the generalization is also a copy. So when you generalize, you copy.
Yeah. And
And
and every copy is not as good as the original. It becomes
off. It's always off. Always
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we spoke about this, I
Except
think
the
last
Japanese
year.
are very good copyists. Except them, they make it
Yeah.
better than it is in
Yeah.
original. Yeah.
We mentioned this, it's this coming up for me now again, around art or
Hmm.
create, and
Yeah.
how it's the imperfections that draw us in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that conversation. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
yeah,
I
you
always, you have
specifically
an,
brought up
you know,
Mona Lisa's background and how we don't have a conversation about,
yeah.
yeah,
Why don't we have a? That's what I said. Why we?
yeah,
And then you see a still life, and you see the goblet is on the side, like they
yeah,
were drunk or whatever, and bugs are crawling on the thing. Those are engagement points
mm,
because if it's normal, you're not engaged. You have to be
yeah,
not app. You have to be just natural. And especially if you have an artwork, you want to have engagement point with it that brings you in, and you say, what is the red thing there? Oh, it's a butterfly. No, that's just a red thing. And then you look, you give
mm,
it attention, you know. But attention is not everything, because if you're not interested in art, you can be engaged by the engagement point, but
mm,
the painting is worthless for you still, you know.
yeah, yeah,
That's why I say the engagement what we do on the internet is BS, because if you're not engaged, the stuff I sent you, for example,
mm,
is not like, here we are, you know. These are
yeah,
all written, most written. Because I use Instagram to learn, you know.
yeah, yeah, and to experience other people's perspectives, isn't it?
Exactly,
But
yeah.
yet we in this world where I constantly have to double check, is it real? Is it AI? Is it
You
fake?
feel it. You feel it. I feel it.
Yeah. They've now made it really good. I mean,
You
I
make it
was
good.
thinking last night, I was showing Scott, I was like, I mean,
Scooter.
these miniature donkeys. I'm like, I know this is not real. This is impossible to be real.
Yeah,
But I'm engaged with it, in the
yeah.
possibility of it, in the I
You're
don't
totally different. You're not the victim of social media. That you
oh
use
well,
social
hopefully.
media to grow, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
through humans, not
Yeah.
through a product or to buy something or whatever. It's just you grow through humanity, because
Yeah.
the most possible thing, you want to grow, you are as many people as you can, not as many books to read. It's about to be with as many people as you can, because that
Yeah.
is because you get in a clear perspective of the whole of the oneness, right? So
Well,
I
that's
talk to
it.
you
Yeah.
about love, I talk to you about war, I talk to you about this. So
Yeah.
my perspective constantly goes. Then I talk to somebody else.
Mm.
You talk to Scooter, I talk to somebody else, and I talk to my Scooter. I know, I know. One of my best friends is Scott, you know,
Yeah.
also. And so I look at that, and then I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then when my friend died, I talked to his sister, and I talked to her perspective.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting, because everything, it's constantly sharpens. And
Mm.
so then I learn what puzzle piece I am and resonate in that puzzle piece, and then attract to me what is, and
Yeah.
to the puzzle piece. The stronger I am, the stronger I know myself, the
Mm.
stronger
In this
I am
moment, in that moment,
in the
in that
moment, in that
puzzle.
moment, in that moment, in that moment, because every moment is a second, yeah,
Yeah.
over and over and over. Every moment is different.
Yeah. And you different, and your puzzle,
Yeah,
your place
yeah,
for your puzzle is
yeah, and that
different.
helps
So,
me a lot. That helps me a lot, because I got sick from that stuff, and I say, yeah, no, I'm gonna be good, because I don't have to recreate the sickness to keep it.
yeah. Yeah.
Helped me a lot, or
Yeah.
I felt depressed or whatever. I
Yeah.
said, I'm always different, so I don't have to, I can let go. That's important.
Yeah, and that's interesting because it's not just letting go of the feeling of it, it's letting
Yeah.
go of its connection to
Hmm.
you. So it's still there to
Yeah,
be experienced, but it's not yours to hang on to. It's
exactly. It's
fleeting.
hanging on. I'm not
Yeah,
a hang on.
yeah.
That's it. But I'm also human, because I think that's why you have to have boundaries.
Mm,
With the most loved ones, family, everything, you have to have boundaries. Who are you and who are them? And if
yeah,
you not, that doesn't mean you say, oh, you can't do that. You never have to say this, but energetically there's a boundary.
yeah,
I see that. I saw that in that whole issue in the last in the last months. I saw a lot of stuff in the group therapy and all the stuff. I saw that the boundary was important. The people losing the boundary, issues happen in chaos. The boundary. I mean, you look in social media; they beat each other. There's no boundary there.
yeah. yeah, and in the boundary, even with yourself and your experience of the world, it's whatever, listening to the news or watching the
Yeah,
news or
yeah.
whatever it is, or experiencing what's going on.
Hmm.
There's some stuff going on at the moment that you're like, wow, I wish this was
That's
real.
here.
Yeah,
That's here, right? That's
yeah,
here, and boundary. That's
mm,
here. It's not me. I'm not here to
yeah,
save the world.
exactly. Yeah,
They need to take care of their parameters. I take care of my parameters where
yeah,
I set my boundaries. So
yeah,
in my thing, I cannot allow certain things,
mm,
but I cannot force that to change or say, oh, you shouldn't do war. They need to have war to experience something. So whatever,
mm, yeah,
I'm not condoning it. We always say that. I'm not condoning anything.
mm,
But it wouldn't exist if people didn't have to live through this, of
mm,
wake up. A lot of people don't wake up. You know
yeah.
it from just here, where you would think they're just not waking up.
No. And the experience isn't theirs. It's an interesting. I was watching a video of a guy this morning talking about he did a psychedelic experience, 5 hours, and it was just interesting to watch him kind of touch on it, as to um, how we are experiencing this game, in
Yeah,
whatever we choose we to experience.
yeah, yeah,
um, and that it is a simulation in many ways, if you choose to be that aware of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I was going to go with that, but
No, no,
it
it's
was
an illusion.
interesting.
It's an illusion. It's like
Yeah,
when you fall asleep, we go in the real, and when we wake up, we get in the dream. And
yeah,
once along that perception, that perception is systemically, changed.
mm,
You
yeah.
know, I
Because
mean,
yeah, he was talking about the fact that when he'd finished this whole experience, which was filled with this amazing love and these beings and
yeah,
this whole thing, and he didn't want to come back because he was like, "But I'm home now." And now I have to put these virtual reality glasses on again and pretend that I'm in separated. I'm in He didn't say that, but
yeah.
we live in this illusion of
Segregation.
separation.
That
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you turn segregation on again. But
Mm,
it's different when I'm aware about segregation and turn it on again. It's a
yeah.
total different thing. Once when I have experienced that, that's why I say experience is so important. Once I experience that, I can, and then go back. It's a
Mm.
different going back. It's not the same going back.
No,
It's like
it's not the
you,
same because neither you or the
or
experience,
no,
neither
no,
you
yeah,
or the river
exactly.
are the
But
same.
and
Yeah,
it's also stronger because if
yeah,
I've never experienced, for example, let's say I experienced the space aliens, right?
yeah,
But once I experienced them and it went okay, I'm not freaked out the second time I see the space alien. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you could be if it wasn't a nice experience, but
No,
at least
no,
it's not
they're not
because
gonna
it's
do
so there.
harm.
Yeah,
They're not. The universe doesn't harm us. The nature
yeah,
doesn't harm. Is not intending to harm us. If I
yeah,
go
but
to a horse and go like that, the horse will bite me. But
yeah,
if I am let the horse come to me, that's why I learn the
yes,
most about animals. I just watch
yeah,
animals and animals. And I just learn so much more than from books or humans.
yeah.
I just
Well,
by observing
there's more
them.
of an openness, isn't there?
Yeah.
But there is nature. I mean, nature can. At home in South Africa, there was big storms this week. There's flood happening at the moment. There's people being displaced. There's people that live in corrugated iron, shacks who are wet and dry and have lost all their belongings. So there are experiences of loss and um, fear and
But
yeah, things
but
happening. Yeah.
humans too. The animals go with higher where there's no floods. They get,
Yeah,
like in tsunami,
they let go, or they don't survive.
or
And
they don't
that's
survive.
kind of
Whatever
hard.
was
Yeah,
caged, the water came over it. But
yeah,
that
yeah,
was systemic influence of the nature. If you if you an animal and you with a tsunami hit, the animals went all on the mountains because they and
yeah,
only the ones that they were caged up.
yeah. but so would humans if we were still in touch with our intuition and with our heart and with our,
Yeah,
even
we're
now.
coming back. We're coming
Yeah,
back. We're coming back.
some of us are
Yeah, but
allowing it.
that's life. That's
Yeah,
life. Some of us die, some of us not die.
yeah, yeah. Well, all of us die eventually.
Yeah,
This is the path that we've
yeah.
chosen is to live a certain
That's
period.
why you have to melt the. You have to be aware
Mm,
about the non-physical and the physical. You have to be aware of it. You don't have to go start a religion. You don't have to go spirituality is everything. No, but you have both. The balance is not either only physical. That
mm,
physical. That's what I do. It's like the dance. Everything is a dance.
yeah.
Dance into balance. Dance yourself into balance. I'm stepping on a foot
Mm,
3 times, and all of a sudden 2 times or 1 time. Then I don't never step on your foot
yeah.
because I feel the resonance of balance.
Mm,
And
yeah.
when you feel the resonance, that's all I think. There's no either or binary.
Mm,
All the spiritual stuff is all thing, the religious stuff. No, that's an excuse. No. You have to be your. And if your thing is religion, go to religion. If your
mm,
thing is, praying to Satan, then do that. It's just,
mm.
it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah. As long as there's no
Harm to none.
judgment
Harm
and
to none.
harm to none. Yeah, that's it.
Harm to none. You can
Yeah.
do everything. Harm to none.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to
Mm-hmm.
kind of harm to none to
Harm
the
to none-ish. Harm to none-ish out.
and no harm to self, no harm to self either.
Exactly. And harm
Be
to none. That includes you because you're one of one. So
yeah,
you're one of one with a capital. So
yeah,
also life is good. Just from your perspective, it's like look at it. It however it shows up, you can change
yeah,
the perspective. Oh,
yeah.
war is coming. That's hard. I'm not saying I'm condoning that,
Mm,
but see it in a different thing. There's a challenge. You can love people. You can
mm,
help people. You can, and that's the worst thing ever.
yeah,
Especially when people do systemic intent, which they always do in wars,
yeah.
and make money and whatever. And it's a money stuff. It's not. It's economic reason, nothing else.
Well, that's it. Yeah, and it doesn't feel very
Imbalance,
exciting,
and it's
does
an
it?
it's a
Yeah,
it's a
an imbalance.
conjured in is a conditioned imbalance, and
Mm,
that's why people have the veterans have so much trauma and all this stuff and so much thing because that's brought in that why the war was fought for was and then the
mm.
people come back all disturbed and then disturbed again, so you can't get rid of energy. You
No.
have to live it out and own it and let it go and feel it. You have to, whatever you feel, it's not for you not to feel that. Because
Mm,
in spirit, you don't have to feel it. But in the words, I feel sadness, I feel happiness, I feel happiness.
mm.
You know?
But it's not you. You are
Exactly.
experiencing it. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But if you don't, then who the experience? And you have to experience my depression.
yeah.
And a lot of people do that, taken on from other people, which is then the other people have an empty backpack and they say, okay, dump on me again, dump on me again.
Yeah.
It's beautiful when you see it right. The perspective,
Mm,
your one-on-one perspective is key.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will speak.